Alrighty, YouTube video here with what's going to be a 2013-14 Premier League prediction video. So, how this video is going to work is basically I'm going to tell you all about the players that have come into the Premier League this year, all the transfers in, and then at the end of the episode I'll talk a little bit about what I think the table will end up at the end of the year. So the top 4, top 6, and the bottom 3. People think I'll get relegated as well. So I did all these transfers and all this information and stuff before the season actually kicked off. But then I'm recording this after the first night of matches. So the games I watched the Liverpool Stoke game, and then I watched the Arsenal game, the Arsenal Aston Villa game, and then I watched the Swansea Man U game. So I watched a few games tonight. It was really good to see some of the new players play. I'm a Swansea fan, so it was good to see Boney get his first goal, even though we lost 4-1. Boney got his first goal on debut, so it's good to see that. So promising things ahead. So basically we'll kick off and we'll go down the list. So we've got Arsenal first. So we got Yaya Sanogo. Arsenal have really got to dip into the transfer market more before they can sort of really contend the Premiership. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. I don't really see him getting top 4. It's just going to be too hard. Yaya Sanogo is a promising player, as you can see here. He's got 4 goals in the under 20 FIFA World Cup, which was just this year. So he was really played well in that. But I don't see Arsenal, featuring greatly. I think they'll maybe make top 6, but as you can see, Aston Villa played well against them. There was a few referees' decisions that went the way of Aston Villa. I don't think the referee had the best game, but still, Aston Villa had to capitalise, and they did. So, and Aston Villa, as you can see here, is our next team. So, out of all these players, Luna was the only one that actually started, and I think it was the only one that actually played out of all these players. He actually had a good game. Nice solid left back, and scored a goal, so good for Luna. And Okora is another player that I think is going to be a really good player for Aston Villa. He's a nice, quick, strong centre back, so that's going to be really exciting for them in case Vla or Baker or something like that gets injured, or he can just help out. So it's good for them. He's nice and young, 21, so he's got a whole future ahead of him. And Aston Villa, as you can see here, have gone for some young players, 20 to 23, so it's good to see for them. Then we'll move down, we've got Cardiff City. Now, they've made some beautiful signings from what I see. Andreas Cornelius is a really highly rated striker, come from Copenhagen. As you can see, 18 goals in 34 games. The Copenhagen fans took to him really well, and he's only 20, so they bought him for £10 million. Like, that's a lot of money for a 20-year-old, so especially for a newly promoted side to spend. So as you can see here, they've spent over 30 mil, sort of 35 mil region, so it's good to see. And they've got some young players as well. So Steven Colker is another one that didn't really... he featured okay at Tottenham, but he sort of couldn't get past Dawson or Vertonghen or Kabul. He just sort of couldn't break in as well as he probably would have hoped. So I think he'll do really well at Cardiff. Then we've got Gary Medel. So he's pretty much like a pit bull. I think he's named the Chilean Gattuso. So in reference to Gattuso, he used to play for Italy. He's a really just pit bull, tough nut, holding midfield type player. Not really going to be a goal getter, as you see, 8 goals in 76 games for Sevilla, but they paid 13 mil for him. He's 26. He's just going to be a really good holding midfield, just in front of the back 4. He'll do really well. And then we've got Chelsea, and now Chelsea have made some really good signings. So that's actually meant to be Marco van Ginkel, I think. Mistyped that, but they bought him. He's really strong, not strong. He looks like a very promising attacking midfielder. Bought him for 9.5 mil, and as you can see here, he can get some goals. So as an attacking midfielder, 18 goals in 93 games. Is pretty good. Like, Lampard would be proud of that, have that as a backup. Then we've got Andre Schürrle, who's a nice winger from Germany. Bought him from Bayer Leverkusen for 18 million, so it's about what you'd expect to pay for him. 22, a nice age. And then they bought Mark Schwarzer, so I'm happy for Schwarzer. I'm an Aussie, obviously. And Schwarzer's just looking to end his career. Fulham bought Stecklenburg, so you couldn't really expect him to stay there and try and get game time there. So Schwarzer will probably play a couple of cup games, or if Czech gets injured or tired, he'll just fill in. And he said he's happy with that, so that's really good to see. And then we'll move to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, I don't really see them doing that great this year. I don't really know. I know Jedinak is the Aussie guy, is a sort of holding midfield player. Very tall, very strong. He's kind of Fellaini-like. Not as good, obviously, but he's that build kind of looks like him as well. But then the players they've brought in, like, a couple look okay. Dwight Gale actually to me looks okay. Shamak is probably not the best signing they've made. I don't mind Stephen Dobby as a player. But then they've got Kevin Phillips, and like their signings are all over the place. I think they're just trying to buy some goals. I just don't see how they're gonna do this. Like, they lose Zaha, and that's a big loss for anyone to lose. Like, he's gone back to Man U. He didn't actually feature in tonight's game, but I'd say he'll do really well at Man United. So I don't think Crystal Palace will stay up. That's just my opinion, but we'll talk a little bit more about the table later on. We'll move down to Everton. So I like the signings that Everton have made. So first of all, Joel Robles is just a young keeper. Came from Atletico Madrid, so he'll try and bust into the Everton team. I don't know how much game time he'll get, but it's good to see that they've gone for the young keeper, some backup. And then Aruna Kone is a very solid striker. I really liked him at Wigan. 11 goals in 33 games. That's meant to be for Wigan, not for Everton. 11 goals in 33 games. Alcaraz is a strong centre back, and then Deulofeu on loan from Barcelona. That's a big signing. I don't know how much game time he'll get, but he's a very solid player. He played at international at a was it either a Euro or a World Cup not too long ago? I think it was a Euro. And him and Jesse Rodriguez just linked up beautifully, and they're just stars. So Deulofeu, I hope to get some good game time. Fulham, it's got some interesting. First of all, this guy I put him in row just because it's still up for contention whether that signing is actually going to go through or not. Ange Freddy Plumain from Lens. Lens have pretty much accused Fulham of not going the right way about it and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure Fulham put it on their website before it was actually agreed, and just some crazy stuff. I'm not actually 100% sure on what's going on, but I don't know whether he's actually going to get to Fulham or not. And then they signed Tarap. Now, for me, Tarap is hot and cold. Like, I don't really know how he's going to go. Like, if he's on, he's one of the best attacking midfielders, the best goal scoring and vision threats that you're actually going to see in a Premier League or in the world, really. That's just my opinion. But when he's off, which is more than sort of half the time, more time than you would like, then he's just disinterested, doesn't really want to help the team out too much. So that's just how I see it. He's always seemed to be not a team player, just sort of an individual. But hopefully Fulham can bring that team sort of part of him out of him. So Amel Bieda is a strong centre-back. Darren Bent is a proven striker in the Premier League, so hopefully he can get some goals for Fulham. Reza had a really great season last year. I'm pretty sure he's on loan, but they actually bought him from Cologne for $1.5 million, so it's good to see. And Stekelenburg from Roma is a big signing. Swartz was getting a bit old, so they wanted a backup keeper, or wanted a new starting keeper. And they bought Stekelenburg. It's a good buy. He's 30, but bought him for $5.5 million. It's a pretty good buy. And then we'll move down to Hull. Now, Hull, for me, have made some absolutely... It's like, Huddleston and Livermore have got some time from Tottenham, and they'll do really well, I think. Livermore's on loan. Huddleston's actually bought. Now, Huddleston, for me, has really, really great vision. So I think he'll do well. Danny Graham, if he can get the goals, it'll be good. He played okay for Swansea when he was at Swansea. Didn't really have the best time at Sunderland. But I think if he can get the goals, then that'll definitely help Hull stay up. And then we got Manuel Figueroa, a strong centre back, a lot of years at Wigan, has a Premier League, has the know-how, he knows what's going on. So it'll be good to see how they go as well. And then we'll move down. We've got Liverpool, and probably some of the best signings, young players, or some of the best young players. They got Luis Alberto. He actually got, I'm pretty sure, the second most goals in the Liga Adelante, which is the second division in Spain, or Spanish first, whatever, under the BBVA. So it was at FC Barcelona B, I'm pretty sure, and it was behind Jared Deulofeu. Jared Deulofeu got the most goals, Alberto got the second. So always, it's good promise there. Mignolet is a class goalkeeper. I've really always loved Mignolet. $10.5 million is a bargain for him. He looked a bit shaky at the start of tonight's game, but came around and made saved the penalty and made another save after that. So beautiful saves there. And then we got Iago Aspas as a sort of. He looked to me. I didn't really see him play too much, or I hadn't seen him play too much until tonight. I watched the Liverpool game when they played Melbourne Victory in Melbourne. But yeah, he looks like a hard-working sort of just centre-forward type player. He's not an out-and-out striker, but he's got more vision. He can sort of drift back and just play as sort of a second striker. And then Kolo Toure is a tried-and-proven centre-back. Played for Man City, so got him on a free transfer from Man City. So that's good work from Liverpool, good business. And then we'll move down to Man City. And they've got Jovetic and Negredo, huge signings. As you can see there, that's $48.5 million just for those two strikers. And they've still got to get past Aguero and Dzeko. So a lot of depth in that Man City squad in the attacking region. And then Jesus Navas is just going to be a huge signing. Like, I don't see anyone contesting him for the right wing position. It'll help David Silva either play on the left or more centrally. And just this Spanish link-up would just be absolutely amazing at Man City. I see them going very well, probably title contenders. And then Fernandinho just a shore up in front of the back four, really solid central defensive mid. And then we'll move down to Man United, who haven't actually done too much in the transfer window. I think they've been worried too much about the whole Wayne Rooney saga. Varela, from what I remember, or from what I've been told, is actually a fairly solid wing-back. So it'd be good to see how he goes, whether he can get past Evra. I think he's a left-back from what I know. Whether he can get either into the right or left-back, I'm not actually sure where he's playing. But then we've got Newcastle United, and they're sticking with their French Legion, I guess you can call it. Half their team's French, half their starters, and they've bought a couple more now. So Loic Remy is an absolute beaut of a striker, and they got him on loan from QPR, who actually went down last year. So I really think he'll do well. He was injured for the first part of his stint at QPR, but then came back and scored 6 goals in 14 games. So he played well. And then this Kamen, this young 17-year-old striker, probably playing the reserves and stuff like that. Be good to see how he goes as well. And then we'll move down and we've got Norwich. Norwich have made some solid signings as well. I really like Norwich. They play free-flowing, just like Swansea. So Nathan Redmond's a nice quick winger. Fur's a solid central defensive mid. Also can get a bit of a goal threat, 12 in 47 for Twente. And Ricky van Wolfswinkel I really rate highly. He's a solid striker. As you can see, they're 28 and 55 for Sporting Lisbon. Very solid. And Martin Olsen was from Blackburn. Even when Blackburn were in the Premier League, he was there. Just a tried and proven left back. He knows what he's doing. And then Gary Hooper from Celtic is a huge signing. Like if they can keep him on the park and stuff, 63 goals in 95 games. That's a beautiful strike rate. Partner him with Wolfswinkel and Norwich are going to be beautiful. And then we've got Grant Holt as well still there. So good to see how Norwich go. Then we've got Victor Wanyama and Dejan Lovren for Southampton. They're two fairly good signings as well. Victor Wanyama are sort of a holding central defensive mid and can play centre back as well. Good business for Southampton there, and then Dejan Lovren, another centre-back as well. So, good to see. I really like Southampton. They, again, play sort of attacking, flowing football like Norwich and Swansea. So, it'll be good to see how they go. Stoke have signed Marc Muniesa, centre-back from Barcelona, on a free transfer. So, he's only a young centre-back. It's good to see how he goes. And Eric Peters actually did start against Liverpool. So, he played an okay game. And they got him for $3.5 million from PSV, so be good to see how those two go as well. Sunderland, I'm sort of fairly excited about actually. Yosi Altidore scored a hat-trick in pre-season for Sunderland. Very, very solid United States striker, and a good strike rate as you can see here. 39 goals in 67 games for AZ Alkmaar in the Dutch league. So very, very solid. Be good to see how he goes. Diakite is a very strong centre back, and then you got Giaccherini, an Italian international player. They bought from Juventus for $10 million, so it'd be good to see how he goes. We'll move down to my team, Swansea, and we've got pretty much the main signings of Boney, who scored tonight. Looked a bit uncoordinated and sort of looks a bit uncoordinated when he plays. That's just my opinion of him. But has a knack for goal. First touch, first shot, just went in the bottom corner past De Gea, so it was a beautiful finish. Looked a bit shaky on the ball at the start, but you know, as I said, polished it off with the goal. John Joe Shelby played a wonder of a game. Just sort of tried to create some. Couldn't really do too much against the Man United back four. They just had, Vidic and Ferdinand. It's hard to get past that. But Shelby's going to be. He's got good vision. Can make some good attacking runs. He's just going to be an absolute beast of a signing. And they got De Guzman and Canas. Canas proved himself tonight for me. Went in so solid into the tackle. Probably could have got sent off. Ended up getting a yellow and carrying on in the game. And played very safe after he got the yellow card. So he's going to be sort of a pitbull centre defensive mid again. But he's got a bit of a vision on him as well. Spanish player, played in the Spanish league. You've got to have sort of vision in that league. And then we've got Tottenham. Tottenham made some decent signings as well. Soldado, I think, is going to be one of the signings of this season. I'd say he's going to get probably 20 goals for Tottenham. That's just my opinion. Paulinho is going to be a solid centre defensive mid. Capoue is going to be a solid midfielder as well. And Chadley's a quick winger. So it'd be good to see how they go. And then we've got West Brom signed Nicholas Anelka. Proven striker. I don't know how he's going to go at 34, but it'd be interesting to see how he goes. And then we've got West Ham. They've signed Andy Carroll and Stuart Downing. So that's how you can see about West Ham. I don't know. They're going to try and revitalise their careers. I don't know if that's going to happen. Liverpool flops. I just don't see them, featuring like against I don't know, I just don't see them doing too well. They'll do okay for their team, like in their team they'll be the standouts, I'd say, but I don't think West Ham will do that great this year. Razvan Rat, a solid left back from Shakhtar, been playing for Romania for years. So we'll go down the bottom, and this is what I'll say. So the top four that I think is going to be Chelsea, Man City, Man United, and Tottenham. So this is all contingent on one thing. If Bale stays at Tottenham, I think they'll get top four. If Bale leaves, I think Arsenal might move up and just move up ahead of Tottenham there. That's my call. I think Tottenham should stay there if Bale stays though. And then Arsenal, Liverpool sort of get 5th and 6th. All the rest of the team, in the middle of the table there. West Ham is probably there because I think they might nearly drop. But I think Aston Villa, Cardiff, and Crystal Palace. I don't think Cardiff and Crystal Palace will quite get the pace of the Premier League. I don't think they'll quite hang up. And Aston Villa, I think they'll be carried by Benteke, but I don't think they'll get over the line. So pretty much Chelsea with Mourinho is going to be really exciting to see how they go. I think they'll really contend for the title with Man City and Man United, and then Tottenham following behind, as long as they keep Bale, obviously. And then Arsenal and Liverpool made some okay signings, but I just don't know if they'll... not Arsenal so much, but Liverpool make some okay signings. I just don't think they're quite there, maybe in a couple of years. And Arsenal need to sign a couple of players, otherwise they will never get there. And then, yeah, the rest of the people are sort of mid-table, and then that's the drop. So that's my predictions for this year. I hope